Welcome to another episode of my podcast. Today's guest is my friend Kamilah Michelle, and I'm really excited to have her feature on this podcast, mainly because only a few short months ago, I did not know who she was, and I had only heard her name through another friend, and it turned out that she and I actually are a part of a sister circle. For those who don't know exactly what a sister circle is, this particular circle or gathering, grouping of women came from a very natural intention to create a space where Black women in particular can come together, build community, love on each other, support each other, heal each other, laugh together, dance together, sing together into that karaoke microphone, girl. And really just enjoy being a Black woman in a world that does not always allow us the space to do that. That is where I met today's guest. And when I tell you she is such a joy to be around, she has a really cool story that she's going to share just a little bit with us today. She can cook her ass off, y'all. FYI, she made some kind of dressing. I'm telling her she needs to bottle it. It puts Paul Newman and every other dressing to shame. Among her many talents, she is an educator, a writer, and just a beautiful, beautiful spirit. And I feel so privileged to know her. And I'm going to let you guys listen in to just a little bit of a cool chat that I had with her the other day. So get comfortable. Take a couple of long, deep, cleansing breaths and get ready to listen to another conversation. But how are you? How's your week been so far? And
girl, I am good. Really can't complain. Had a beautiful Reiki session on Monday. And my father's mom came through and said I'm worrying too much and I'm going to worry myself to death. Stop it. So that just gave me some comfort in knowing, like, not only that my ancestors are watching out for me, like I already knew that, but like the stuff that I'm manifesting, the stuff that I'm working on, just flow, right? Like, stop freaking out.
I like that. That's really powerful. That's really, really powerful. Do you have Reiki, like regularly, or is that like your first time doing it?
I wouldn't say regularly.
Okay.
But it's definitely not my first time. I've had it a few times, but, my first time with this particular, Reiki healer. So it was dope.
That's really dope. That's really, really dope. Well, yeah, my week has been, eventful in some regard. I'm planning a pretty big workshop, so I've been spending a lot of time on my computer, and that's been a lot because I notice like sometimes I go into like work mode and I'm like this like mad scientist behind my computer just writing and creating stuff. Sometimes I'm like, let me step away from this and let me take a break. So my friend called me this morning and was like, why don't you come out to my place for the weekend and kind of unplug? And I was like, you know what? That's exactly what I need to do.
Oh, that's fabulous. How wonderful.
So, very excited about that. Very grateful. And it's been a long time coming, but the timing is actually perfect. So I'm getting some healing from being poolside and just, mountainside and just kind of out of the city, which is really, really nice.
Oh, good. I'm glad for you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we are going to dive right in.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the floor and let you introduce yourself to our listeners. You're going to share with us your name, your sign, and then one of your passions.
Oh, wow. One of them. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Kamilah Michelle Hatcher. I am a Libra sun, Aries rising, Gemini moon. And one of my passions, wow. The first thing that just pops in my head is I'm an artist. And I feel like I'm blessed with the gift of creativity, which covers many things. But the first thing that's popping in my head right now, because probably what I'm gonna do in a little while, is cooking. I love it. I love food. I love going to farmers markets. I love grocery stores and finding new ingredients, and I love cookbooks. Oh my gosh. I love cooking shows, and I love to actually cook. And I think I love to feed people.
Yeah, and you're really good at it, by the way.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I've eaten some of your food over the last couple of months, and I'm like, so did you make this from scratch? This didn't come from like a box or a bottle or anything? I was like, no, I actually made that.
Yeah.
It's delicious. So you definitely have a very natural talent for cooking. So that's pretty cool that it's one of your passions.
One of my passions, yeah.
Yeah, and I like how you related it to creativity, because it is, like you said, the creative elements, the arts, kind of span so many different, arenas, whether it's music or acting or writing, but cooking, is another really great way to communicate even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What goes into your food and the thought and the intention and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. I like that.
Tote.
So I'm going to throw a couple of questions at you.
Okay.
And we're just going to kind of go into our very natural, unstaged, unproduced conversation.
Lovely. I love it.
But I wanted to ask you, where are you from originally?
I am from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm a Midwest girl.
Wow. And how did you end up in LA?
So I said I'm an artist. The area that manifested for me first as a child the strongest was acting. So when I graduated college, a week after I graduated college, I moved straight to New York City. And I lived there for 13 years. And New York is such a wonderful city. I love it. I've spent most of my adult life there. And I realized I was caught up in the city, and there's so much to do, and you can get pulled 70,000 different ways. And I was pulled all of those ways and having the time of my life, but I wasn't pursuing my art. And so I thought, I wonder if I go to LA, where the film and TV industry is so booming.
Right.
And I'll get focused, because so much of LA, everybody had told me, is just centered around the industry, the entertainment industry.
Right.
Me decide to take the leap. I had not been to LA since I was 7. I had no car, only had a place to live with a girl that I used to work with that I knew, but not like well. She had an extra room. And so I just bought a one-way ticket and moved across the country.
Wow.
Not saying I would recommend that to anyone, because LA kicked my butt. Having no car here and not having a job, boy, it kicked my butt. But I've made it. I've been here almost 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's actually a really great story, because you're right. LA and New York, I feel, are the two like polar locations that draw in creatives of every kind, whether it's dance, music, acting, writing, whatever it is. It's like LA, New York. Which one's it going to be? And very few people actually experience both places in a lifetime. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, they end up either or, where they're like, I came here, I stayed here, I thought about the other place, but I never really went to it. Whereas you kind of have a unique story in that, like you said, right after college, which is, early stages of your 20s, so to speak, and making that leap to go, I'm going to go dive into the city that never sleeps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you probably didn't sleep a whole lot while you were
Well, actually, I'm a sleeper. I love to take naps and things like that, so I got my sleep. But late nights, yes.
Yes, lots of late nights. And
clubs stay open till 4 in New York. Yeah,
right.
Lots of late nights.
Exactly. It's like, don't ever go to bed for like 3 hours during the middle of the day, and then go back out again the next day.
That's exact disco nap. It was my life. Yeah.
So when you think about like the transition from New York to LA, what would you say are like the biggest differences that you noticed when you decided to actually pursue your craft?
So in terms of craft, and also it's my mindset. So I really think opportunities were available in New York. I wasn't pursuing, or didn't feel I was ready, or I didn't feel I was trained enough to really go after them hard. I think I moved to LA and came after things a lot harder. So I think it's not necessarily the difference in the industry so much as the difference is me. That's what I've realized. In my confidence and believing in my talent and believing I deserve to succeed.
Right.
That's a lot of it, because I could have stayed in New York and been a successful actor.
Right.
I know that now.
Right.
It took some trial and tribulation. It took a lot of falling down. It took a lot of nights and days of tears and what am I doing, and meditation and prayer and spiritual practices.
Right.
Family and leaning on my people and my friends. It's taken a lot of that. But I think New York is definitely more theater heavy.
Okay.
And even though they shoot shows in New York, they shoot commercials, but LA has a nice theater scene.
Right.
That's the other thing. The theater scene in LA is really growing. So it's a both and. Right. I really think the major thing is me.
Right. I like that. No, and I like that perspective, because a lot of times, when you position that same question to a different, creative person, they would say, oh, well, LA is the only place that you can go for fill in the blank. And New York is the only place you can be for XYZ. And it's like, well, I think there's a quote. I'm not good at quotes. I often paraphrase. Like, I get the idea, but sometimes I don't remember the actual quote. There's a saying that says, like, wherever you go, there you are. And so I like what you said about, like, it doesn't really matter if I'm in New York or if I'm in LA, but my mindset has changed. My level of confidence has changed. My, maybe commitment to, mastering your craft or expanding and learning new things, it changes. And I think you're right. I think location and geography can be helpful, what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not like the deciding factor,
I mean, the way I think about it is I could be a successful working actor in Indianapolis, Indiana. There are a couple of theaters that produce plays all the time. Now granted, it's what do you want? Are you trying to be on a national level? When I was a kid, I was doing local commercials. Like, you can be there and make money and do okay for yourself. Now, I mean, cost of living there is different. Again, I said, are you looking for a national, international platform? You may not reach that from Indiana.
Right.
But if my goal was just to be on stage acting, I mean, I had an acting teacher in high school who did theater, and she was phenomenal. But she had a family and a house and a very comfortable life in Indiana, but she still was a creative.
Right.
I just know that I'm meant to be on a larger platform.
Yeah. And I think that's really what, is the driving force that sets certain people apart, that says, you know what, I just want to be on small stages and playhouse groups, and I really just want to do this because it's a hobby, but what I really love is gardening or whatever, you know what I mean? Versus the creative that says, this is actually what pulls me out of bed every day, and this is what I'm willing to, sacrifice and train and grind it out so that I can pursue this, or like you said, set the intentions and pray and manifest, is so that I can make this particular thing happen. And I think it's great that you have that somewhat unique perspective that says, it doesn't matter where I am. I just get to decide how far I want to go, what platform I want to be on, and then I just have to move it forward from there. And I think that's really powerful, to think about.
And I still get scared. I still stop my own progress. I still get in my own way. But I think I have spiritual tools and friends and family that help me recognize, and therapy too, when that's happening, and then to move past it and not to get stuck. So, I mean, but I'm learning that that's part of the creative process.
Right. I agree. Yeah. So you're originally from Indiana, and then is that where the majority of your family is still, like, in the...
I have family, most of my family's in Indiana. I also have family in New York.
Okay. So what was it like for you to build a tribe or create family in LA once you got here?
Oh gosh.
So it was a wonderful experience, is what you're
saying? Just smooth and easy. When I say LA kicked my butt, I knew like 2 people here. I ended up getting a job I worked at a children's museum for a little bit because I'm an educator. That's my background. I teach elementary school to pay my bills currently. I ended up getting a job at a very small private school, so my social circle was not very big. And to be honest, I am an African-American woman. I could not figure out how to meet the Black people in LA. I lived in Hollywood.
Okay.
And not having a car did not help at first. But then when I got a car, in New York, it's very like, to go to Harlem, to go to Clinton Hill or Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. And people in New York walk around. So people are just outside. There's festivals. You turn the corner and, it's the every Memorial Day in Fort Greene, Brooklyn is the Dance Africa Festival. And it's blocks and blocks. And it's just people everywhere. And you're meeting people. People are dancing. It's the best thing ever.
Right.
And it's like, I just couldn't find that in LA.
Right.
And I was just like, I would just be in my apartment crying sometimes because I just was like, I don't know where to meet people. I'm in a sorority, so I got active in my sorority. That helped.
Okay.
But also, Instagram was my friend. It would following different people and different events and things. And I just had to go by myself. And I'm a Libra and I'm very much, I do things in pairs.
Yes.
Libras sign a partnership. I do things with other people.
Right.
I had to learn to go places by myself. I kind of learned how to do that in New York, just as a sense, learning how to deal with solitude and get comfortable with myself. And that was part of me loving myself. But here it was tested because it was like, there's a big event. You just need to go.
Right.
And that's how I met my roommate, my current housemate. I went to an event about vaginal steaming.
Oh, yeah.
And she did a yoga session after. And I was there, and I didn't come for yoga.
Right.
I was there for somebody else posted on Instagram, and I was buying my V-Steam kit, and she came up to me and was like, "Oh, you should stay for yoga." And I was like, "Who is this lady?" She was so sweet. And I was just like, I'm not really dressed for yoga.
Right.
She was like, "Well, if you don't come to this, I teach." And she was telling me all the places she teaches. And then I ended up following her on Instagram, and I started going to her yoga class and then ended up like building a relationship with her. So for me, taking the risk and kind of stepping out on faith and going to these events by myself, I ended up meeting people, and that helped expand my friendship. And honestly, she and I we were cool. I wouldn't even have called us friends. Like, we were cool.
Yeah.
And then she ended up putting on this high vibrations event, and I helped her with that. And then from that, I think then we developed a friendship.
Yeah.
And then the whole situation for her needing a housemate came up, and then it ended up working out. And then I feel like my friend circle has just grown, especially this sister circle that you are a part of.
Yeah.
That we have monthly. I'm just meeting the most amazing, wonderful women. And Keisean, I have to tell you, before I moved to LA, I kept getting this calling or this vision that was telling me there's a group, and it was an affirmation for me almost. There's a group of women waiting for you in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
And so when I got here and I couldn't find my group,
right. You're like,
I was like, I don't understand what is happening. Where are my people? But I didn't give up. I didn't pack up and move back to New York. I didn't pack up and move home. I felt like I was here for a reason.
Right.
And now I'm feeling like, oh, this is my tribe. These are my people.
Oh, that's so dope. Oh my God.
But it was a struggle.
Yeah.
It was a struggle. So clearly I have some tenacity. I have some perseverance.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Because it was really tough. It was my first Christmas here. I had no money, and my dad was really ill. He's passed now, but it was before he had died. And it just was like, nobody could send me home for Christmas. I didn't have my own money. And I literally was sitting on a couch. I could afford an Amy's burrito. And my family has huge Christmases where we're like all together, and it's just food and music and laughter and drinks and wonderfulness. And I just sat on the couch and I called Mother. I cried.
Wow. Oh my God.
And I just was like, why is this happening to me?
Girl. Right. If I had a dime for the number of times that I called my mom sitting on the floor or in my car, like, what? How many do you, is this karma? What did you guys do? Who am
I know. I'm like, what did I do to deserve it?
Yes.
Because in New York, I have family. So even if I was down to my last penny, I had somewhere I could go eat. I had somewhere I could go just be with people that love me.
Right.
And get that love reflected back. Give them love and get the love reflected back. Right. And I did not have that here.
Right.
And I almost questioned, like, why didn't I come scope out LA? Why didn't I get a job first? Why didn't I? Because I went to Macy's, like, fine. Because I come, my mother says it's my Midwestern values, but I come from a hardworking family. Okay. So I was like, I will work at Macy's. I will wait. What do I need to do? And I remember going to Macy's, and the woman was like, so We pay $9 an hour. And I was like,
what?
How are people eating?
They're not. They're
$9. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she looked at me, she goes, oh, you're coming from New York. You guys used to be getting paid way more.
Right.
Just was like,
right.
Because, and even temp agencies out here in New York City, you go to a temp agency, you are a college graduate, they are putting you to work the next day and you're making good money.
Yep.
The LA's just different. You know, New York is go, 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 go. LA is a chill lifestyle. So the lady, I went to temp agency, like, fine, I'll get work. She's like, so I'll probably call you back in a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And I was like, excuse me?
I'm sorry, what? Right.
I'm like, I've got all this great New York work experience. I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
Right.
She was like, yeah. And like, I never heard from them.
Exactly.
Like, I would have to call them and she'd be like, yeah, we don't have anything. And I'd be like,
right. Right.
I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone coming from New York.
Yeah. That doesn't shock me at all. Like, I'm from LA originally, born in Inglewood, and then parents moved out, to the middle of nowhere, San Bernardino County. So I went to high school in the middle of nowhere. And then I went to college on the East Coast because I went to an HBC in North Carolina. Yes. And so when I was in North Carolina, I got to, scope out places like New York and DC and Virginia and Atlanta and be like, so if I wanted to stay on the East Coast, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are my options? And for me, my pull was my whole family's here. And then once I had a child, when I was 25, I was like, well, I don't want to raise my kid far away from my family. So I ended up, gradually migrating back to LA. And so for me, it's second nature because it's home. So I do sort of have that family safety net element. Yes. But as I grow older and that safety net becomes a little smaller, as it should, you know what I'm saying? His parents are like, we love you, but the gonna revolve just a little less than it used to.
And they're older.
And they're older, which I totally get. I realize that there's a lot of people, I would say, within the last, 5 to 10 years that have made that leap to come to LA. And, they're struggling to find their tribe, like you said, from the very beginning. But once they do kind of get into like a really natural groove if they show up as a real person. And what I notice is that a lot of people who migrate to LA, in order to attract their tribe, they model the behaviors of a lot of these posers and phony and inauthentic people, and they end up very different than who they actually are. So I think it's really dope that you showed up as you, all the way you, and just naturally found yourself, like you said, in these spaces where you're collaborating with people who become friends, who become housemates, who become part of a sister circle. Like, that's such a beautiful journey. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. So if you were to give advice to your 20-year-old self, what would you say?
You've got this. You are talented. You've got everything you need inside of you. Just go for it. Take the risk. Go, jump, leap.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. That's a question that I've asked a couple of guests, and what's interesting is that even though every answer is unique, the intention, I think, for everyone is to encourage that younger self to just go for it. You know what I mean? Just like balls to the wall, as they say, whatever, just grind it out, make it happen, just go for it, take the leap, And I think what's really cool is that we mature, and as we grow and expand and transform, is that we get to continue to give that same advice to our current self. You know what I mean? And to do so with the same level of conviction that we would sit down across from our 20-year-old self and be like, girl, let me tell you some things. Okay?
Right.
I'm going to tell you some things. Do not procrastinate. Do not wait for somebody to come and save your ass.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just go for it.
Because ain't nobody coming.
And if
you save you. You're your savior. Yeah.
Yes, you save you.
Yeah.
You be your savior, your motivator, your encourager, because I think that it can be hard, especially, I think, for Black women to go to a space that is outside their comfort zone and to find a tribe of other Black women in particular who will hold space for you, support you, encourage you.
Yeah.
That can be really tough,
Yeah. Yeah.
That can be really tough. So I think it's kind of dope that you managed to find that. So
Yeah.
if you could do it all over again, would you still choose New York first?
Yeah. There is something about, I think New York City grew me up. New York City gave me grit. New York City, my mother always laughed. She's like, you are like tough now. Like, I'm still a softie. I'm still a sweetheart. But she's like, you've developed a sense of toughness that you have to have in New York or you'll get got.
Mm.
It's like, I have this grit, don't fuck with me-ness that I didn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't trade it.
I like that.
Would not trade that part of me. That, I mean, like I said, I'm Aries rising. I'm fire. It's in there.
Right.
It's just something that I never allowed or needed to come up. And you need it in New York for survival.
Right.
And New York City is so fun.
Right.
My perfect world, and I still feel like I'm manifesting it, is to be bi-coastal.
Oh, I love it.
I'd spend half my time in LA, half my time in New York.
Perfect. And I'm with you on that. I would want to spend half my time on the East Coast between like Baltimore, DC, New York, like kind of just conglomerating and moving around those little areas. And then, of course, half my time in LA. Actually, I want to do like thirds. I want to do like a third of the time in LA, a third of the time on the East Coast, and a third of the time out of the country. Like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Give me Costa Rica or Aruba or somewhere else that ain't the United States for just a little while, just so I can reset. But I like that. That's a beautiful manifestation. So, so where do you see yourself going creatively? Like, what's your ultimate goal as far as creativity goes?
I feel like now I'm create. I feel like the way the universes work, because I've had an agent, I've auditioned, I've gotten into SAG, beautiful things, but I'm still not, because my goal is to be working as a creative only, making my living, making my money, thriving as a creative, not having to have a quote unquote day job or moonlight as a, right. That's my goal. And part of that, I think, ideally for me, acting wise, I love comedy. I love improv. Like that's my, can I curse?
Yes.
That's my shit. That's my shit. So I am working now and I'm all on the edge, like, and I think this is what my grandmother told me, don't worry about. I'm working now on a pilot. And because I just feel like the universe has brought me to the point where I'm not supposed to be in someone else's project first. Yep. I'm supposed to be in my own project. Yep. And I think the way everything was because I came here and hustled. I was like, I'm getting an agent. What do I need to do? Who do I need to get in front? I was going to all those, like, you pay $25 to get in front of casting directors. I was doing it all. And it was worth it, though, because it was working for me, but it never was quite. I kept getting callbacks. Okay. I would get second call. I would get put on hold. Oh, wow. Which is what they do right before they book you. Yeah. And wouldn't book it. Oh. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand what is going on. Right. And I was like, okay, this project's supposed to come out of me. So to be a series regular on a sitcom and on a network, like either a cable network or on Netflix would be my ideal. Okay. Because I've watched different things where producers and things say that Netflix, if they buy into your show, they give you the money and they let you do your own thing. And if it does well, they renew you. If it doesn't do well, they don't. That's it. Whereas, NBC is giving you notes. Oh, you can't say that. She looks better in this color. Yep. I kind of want somebody to let me pick my people, let me have my own flow. Exactly. So that's what, to be a series regular on a sitcom show, it's looking like it's going to be my project. I think that's so dope. Yeah, and I would love to do film, and film's my favorite medium. And I'm so open to doing other people's projects. I love theater still. Yeah. So I'm open. So right now I'm working on this project, and yeah. That's so dope. I'm excited. That's so dope. One day this podcast will look back and go, remember when you said in 2018? I know. Look at you now. I know. And I think that's so dope. I'm so excited for you. And I think you are absolutely right about sometimes when you get to a point as a creative where you recognize that you do actually have skills in different areas that complement, your main. Like if you're like, I love comedy, I love improv. Who says I can't write a pilot? Yeah. You know what I mean? Why not create something, and why not produce it myself and, shop it around and see what that looks like? Like, who says I can't do that? Because the reality is that
the world that we live in now, where so many things are self-produced, people are putting together their own sizzles, they're entering into film festivals across the country, around the world. They're getting picked up. They're actually pitching directly to streaming networks like Netflix and Hulu and Reverie and Amazon, studios is producing all kind of shit. It's like, we actually have a very unique, we're living in a unique time right now.
Yes.
The traditional ways of getting from script to screen are a lot different.
Yeah, broader.
They're more broad. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're more broad, and they are kind of still under that model of make it yourself. We're going to give some money. We're going to make sure you end up on the screen. If people like it, we'll do it again. If not, he's out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're not going to be up your butt the whole time and, trying to create it for you.
Yeah.
We're going to just let you, we're going to be a distributor, which is all we're meant to be anyway.
Right.
And I think that's pretty dope. So, yeah, I like it. A lot of the people that are doing it big right now. You look at like the Issa Raes and the Lena Waithe and the Justin Timberlake of the world and the Ben Corys and Ash. Like, you think of them, it's like they were doing stuff on Black and Sexy TV. They were doing stuff on YouTube.
They sure were.
You know what I mean? They were doing it.
I used to be a big fan of the Black and Sexy TV.
Exactly. It was like, I think it was Hello Cupid was like Ashley Lane and someone else.
Yeah. Hello Cupid was one of my favorite ones.
It was so cute. Cute. And then, like Awkward Black Girl became Insecure, and there you go, so it's like, I think you're right. I think sometimes in order for us to really push ourselves into the limelight, so to speak, is that it's got to come through our own eyes, through our own medium, just to really show us that we can do more. We can do more.
Yeah.
We can Tyler Perry our projects. We can
sure can.
We sure can. Why not? I love that. Well, I don't want to keep you. I just want to say thank you so much for saying yes to being a part of this podcast. And thank you for sharing just a little snippet of your artist journey, which is continuing in beautiful directions, I can see. So yeah, I appreciate you for that. Before we sign off, I want you to let people know if they wanted to reach you, how to find you, how to get in touch with you, if you're on social media or whatever. Sure.
I'm always on Instagram it's Kamilah Michelle, KamilahMichelle. Here's the thing. It's private because I teach elementary education and I'm very much myself on Instagram because I teach people's children and they feel kind of way. Some of the stuff I post, they may feel weird about.
Right.
So just friend request me and I'll allow you to follow as long as you're not one of my parents.
I was going to say, once you verify that you're not a parent, then
then you can. Because people get so mad. Why is your page private? I'm like, I don't want anybody coming to my boss and saying, this girl posted.
Girl, let me tell you. Right. Right. Right.
And I post sexual stuff. I post a lot of spiritual stuff because that is the multiple facets of Kamilah. I'm many different people, which is beautiful. And I express that and I'm proud of that. Right. And I just don't need any drama. So.
Right.
Yeah.
We need the day job to stay intact.
Yeah.
Until the creative job surpasses it.
And there's a lot of teachers at my school that try to follow me, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I keep my Instagram life private.
Right.
And I tell them you can follow me on Facebook because I'm never on Facebook.
There you go. You can follow me on Facebook and see all the imaginary threads that
the nothingness that's there. Yeah. So.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you, Kamilah. Thank you so much. I know that I definitely feel, a sense of inspiration from you just sharing your story of never giving up and, being tenacious and really, almost relentless with your goals, and where you see yourself going. So, yeah. So thank you.
This was helpful for me because I forget sometimes. I get wrapped up in where I am right now and I'm like, girl, do you know who you are? Come on. So this was just super helpful for me.
Oh,
so thank you.
I'm so glad. Well, that's my intention with this podcast is, to share with whoever listens some of the inspirational conversations that I get to be a part of and the people that I get to be inspired by. And it's always really amazing to hear even just a snippet of someone's story. And a lot of times when you do get a chance to tell your story, those are sometimes the only moments when you look back and say, I did kind of do something.
Yeah,
right.
I
am
did.
kind of dope, actually. So,
Actually,
in case
you better ask somebody.
You better ask somebody. Did you know that I moved out here from New York City and made it happen from zero to
with
hero?
nothing, with absolutely nothing? I had to dip into my 401k. Like,
hey,
crazy.
Precisely. Well, I applaud you for that. I'm so proud of you. I look forward to continuing to be a compassionate witness to your journey.
Thank you.
And, yeah, girl. And I can't wait to eat some more of your food. And
yay! All right. Thank you, Keisean.
My pleasure. Thank you, girl. Okay. Peace. Thank you so much, Kamilah. That was such a cool conversation. I'm so glad that you shared what you shared. I'm pretty inspired by the fact that this woman went from Indiana to New York City to LA and managed to find community in LA of all places. I am a SoCal native. I'm an LA native, but I know sometimes LA gets a bad name for not really being a place that people who really care about people comes from. So I'm so glad that Kamilah found people like myself who are real people who genuinely care. I wish you light, luck, love, and prosperity onto your life. I cannot wait to see what amazing projects and products are going to come out of you. And I'm just so happy to be a compassionate witness to your life as it continues to unfold. So thank you, girl, for saying yes. Thank you for everything that you shared. I know that anyone who hears this is going to feel inspired. Anybody who might be in Indiana or in the middle of Arkansas or something who is thinking about going for your dream, thinking about taking that step, let this story be an inspiration to you that anything is truly possible once you set your heart and mind on it. Peace. You have your choice of podcasts that you can listen to, tune into, subscribe to, and share. And I want to take a moment to just express my sincere gratitude for you choosing this one. In this moment right here and now, I see the light, I see the love, I see the wisdom, I see the beauty, the prosperity, and the abundant joy shining within you. And I bow humbly before your divinity. Namaste. Peace, y'all.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.